Hello, Ramni, how are you?
Hi, Bukan, how are you? Sorry, my apologies.
No. Good.
Doing good.
Perfect.
How's the weather in Turkey, mate?
Well, going good in Turkey, but I've been in US for 1.5 weeks, and
Wow.
I'll be here for 2 or 3 weeks more,
Right.
to handle business here.
Okay.
And I'll fly back to the Netherlands and then to Turkey. So
yeah,
the flights are started again.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool.
Have you been to Waste Expo, American?
Yeah, so this was the first Waste Expo experience for us.
How was it?
They are all saying it is smaller than normal, but it was good for us. So as it was the first one, so it was better than we expect, I would say.
Because I think that it was the first time after 2 years, because they had to cancel, and
yeah, definitely.
It's nice to see things are coming back too.
Yeah, definitely, yes. So most probably we will come back on November as well. So there is Suana WestCon too. So we are trying to understand how things going on in US market.
I just wanted to check, can you see my screen and the presentation now?
Yes,
we see.
We see the screen, but not in the presentation mode. So we see Google Chrome as well.
Okay.
I can see both. I can see the presentation.
Boleh.
It's not in the presenter view, right, Umutcan?
Yeah.
This is practice session. WhatsApp saya takut terganggu. This one is
Carlos, how are you? Congrats for the new position. Let's say I written on LinkedIn, but I would like to say in person too.
Thank you very much. A lot of work to do, and adapting to these new times. But we are moving fast. We have a good team at the ISVA board, so almost new people, and it's good how we see things with better opportunities for the waste industry. So
definitely there's always, and the new shape is also a nice, like the ISVA new logo, new look, I would say is perfect.
Yeah, after we reach 50 years of existence, it's something new needs to happen. It's an old lady we need to reshape and
modernize.
Yeah. good word, Arne. Thanks. So we need to modernize.
I couldn't make the presentation in the presenter view. You're seeing everything?
Yeah.
How can I solve that problem?
What program do you use for presenting? PowerPoint or?
Not Google Chrome. And
I'm not familiar with that type of presenting tool.
Me neither.
because I think that Google Chrome is the browser, and it's not, you cannot make it as like the PowerPoint to go for a full screen.
So there is the Drive version. So Google has it. So can you do like presentation mode without sharing the screen?
I got my notes, and I won't be able to go without my notes, I think.
Got it.
Just I'm trying again.
Yeah.
But it's the same, right?
Now we are seeing the Chrome, not your notes.
Now,
Now you're seeing the notes.
Now we are seeing the notes.
Okay, how can I solve that problem?
So if you like, we can start with the first version, so we can see a little bit of the Chrome toolbar. The one page is okay, and you can take the notes into another document, maybe, and so you can use it from there. No worries, you can handle it.
Okay, I'm gonna try that way, but I'm the moderator now. I had to start everything.
No problem.
What should I do? Actually, it's not going like that. Is it related to Zoom? Normally, we are making that kind of things.
Or maybe if you like, you don't show the presentation, just make the opening and shoot the questions. Let us start. We can handle it.
Okay, sorry for that part.
No problem.
Then I'm stopped sharing screen. Is it shared now? No.
No.
Maybe I can try that way. Not. Okay, stop sharing. So I'm gonna go with the introduction part then. Thanks for your understanding.
No problem.
Starting the webinar.
Participants are coming.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on waste management in sustainable and smart cities. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. Do we have to wait for a couple of minutes, or we can start?
We can start with the introduction, and people can
Okay.
join us in 1-2 minutes while we are introducing ourselves.
Okay. I'm Ecem, and I'm working as the Key Account Manager in Eureka. Today, I'm going to be the moderator. And now I would like to welcome our speakers for today. Welcome Umutcan, Arne, Carlos, Ramli. Can you introduce yourselves too?
So let's follow that order.
Right. Hi, MJ. My name is Ramli Mohamed Tahir. I'm the Managing Director for KDB Waste Management. We are based in Shah Alam, Selangor in Malaysia. Thank you very much for inviting me today to be one of the speakers. I'm very happy to be with you guys, even though it is online. But it's okay. I thought you're going to talk a very important thing tonight, which is waste management in the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Umutcan, you can go.
Oh. Yeah, please go ahead, Carlos.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Carlos Silva Filho. I'm the current ISVA president. I'm a Brazilian, and I'm very happy to be here with you all today and participating at this meeting with Eureka, our active member, and discuss this very update and challenge topic about waste management, sustainable innovation. So it will be really nice to exchange some impressions with you all and hear from all colleagues here with us in this panel and look forward to this discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Carlos?
Arne, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello to everyone. My name is Arne Ragosnik. I'm currently serving as ISWA Vice President. I'm Austrian. I'm independent consultant here in Austria, dealing with waste management for the last 25 years. I'm very happy to join this webinar. As Carlos just said, I think waste management is a crucial point in order to achieve sustainable cities, and it also has to do with smartness and being smart. So waste management, smart cities do have a lot in common. I'm looking forward to this discussion. Thank you.
So hello everybody, this is Umutcan, one of the founders and CEO of Eureka, and I'm really happy to be here together with all these experienced people of waste management sector, and we are all coming from different countries, like from Asia to North and South America and also Europe. So it is nice to see that we have all this experience and the vision to make our cities much more sustainable and smart. I'm looking forward to have this discussion. Hopefully it will be helpful for all of us.
Okay, great. Another thing to say, or we can start?
We can start.
Okay, before we get started, I'd like to remind you that the chat section will be open, but please, if you can use the Q&A section for your questions, it will be great so that I can see it more easily and not miss any questions. So I would like to go with my questions, and firstly, I would like to ask to Arne, why is effective waste management a crucial element in creating a sustainable city? What do you think?
Effective waste management is a crucial element of sustainable cities. It's not just about the appearance and about logistical problems that have to be solved and that are visible to everyone, and that are also important from an economic point of view. It's also about sustainability issues like climate impact, like resource consumption. So if we look, for example, at different waste streams, at bio-waste or at C&D waste, we have a very high impact of sound waste management with regards to climate impact and resource use. For example, in the C&D waste, 40% of the overall resources that human society uses is within the C&D, within the construction sector. And if we are able to reuse, if we are able to recycle, we will avoid a lot of climate impact. We would avoid a lot of resource consumption, and we avoid a lot of waste as well. And in the bio-waste sector, a lot of the methane emissions from waste, from not so sound waste management, are due to bio-waste included in the residual waste and that is emitted from landfills and so on. If we collect this bio-waste and if we make use of it, either by providing energy or also by composting and providing compost, we can have a lot of positive impact on the climate issue if we do this type of waste management.
Thank you so much. And for, my other question is to Umutcan. From your perspective, which technological advancements will shape the future of waste management in smart cities? What do you think?
Thanks a lot, Ecem. And I was also taking some notes while Arne was answering. So these are super critical points. When we look at the cities, so we at first for like citizens which are not coming from waste management industry, the waste management can be only municipal waste, but this is not only of course. So there are like industrial, commercial, C&D. All of those are different verticals. So what I see is this. So we have different verticals. We need different operations for those. We need to position different technological solutions in one hand, and on the other hand, we need to make trainings, education, we need to change the behavior of people in order to get the best out of it, best successful stories in our cities. So to do that, we believe in a comprehensive solution approach. Of course, there are different vertical solutions for waste management. What we believe in, like a kind of circular approach from the technological point of view, if we can include all the stakeholders, like citizens, drivers, supervisors, regulation makers, like CEOs of the companies or municipalities. So everyone has to be on the same table. Everyone has to have their says in the processes. So this is the only way we believe to have the circular and sustainable waste management solution globally. We can start with small cities, or we can start with like big cities. But this is the only way we can do possible. That's why we have developed a solution to include all the stakeholders of waste management, and we are totally open for collaboration with any vendor, any stakeholder of the waste management industry, because this is the only way we can make 1 + 1 = 3. So that's why I see this should be the end goal of waste management sector, specifically in smart cities.
Thank you so much, Umutcan. And my next question is for Carlos. Do you think there are any examples of sustainable cities at present? And if so, what can aspiring cities learn from these existing examples to develop in a smart and sustainable way?
Thank you very much for that question. And for sure, there are excellent examples of cities who are currently developing best practices towards waste management. But as Umutcan just mentioned, when we talk about waste and cities, at first we might be aiming only at the municipal waste, and for that fraction there are plenty of solutions. We don't have one size fits all solution that can be replicated in different parts of the world. It's important to highlight that waste management is always a local issue and must be delivered according to local patterns, to local characteristics, to local, let's say, affordability as well. We cannot just transfer a solution from a city in one country to another city, because it might not be the same procedure, it not present the same results. And here, and also when we talk about municipal waste, we are also talking about several different types of materials. You have organic fractions, you have the dry fraction with different materials, with the different recyclables. So you have plastics, you have paper and cardboard, you have metals, and then you have many other materials that are daily generated by people. And also, taking from Umutcan says, we have not only the municipal waste. When we talk about waste, and then Arne just gave us some examples, we have construction and demolition waste, healthcare waste, industrial waste, and all those are components of this big industry, of this big waste industry. Just to give an idea, the most update data says the world generates 2 billion tons per year of municipal waste. If we take into account wastes from different other businesses, if we take into account waste from commerce, from industries, from construction, from ports and airports, this amount can reach from 7 to 10 billion tons per year. So this is what we have to consider. And also on that sense, we have to consider that the waste center, the waste generation center is changing. It's moving from the developed countries to the developing countries. And the perspective is that in the near future, we will see most of the waste being generated in Africa, in Southeast Asia, in South America. So we need to turn our eyes to those regions, and we need to ensure that those regions will be able to access solutions, modern solutions, sustainable and affordable solutions to really improve not only the infrastructure to manage to deal with this growing waste generation, but also to move forward according to the development of our society. And this is another issue that we need to take into consideration. The citizens' behavior, consumers' behavior, because a waste management system will only be successful if we are able to engage the society to the system that are delivered. So here we could give several examples, Etienne, but I rather prefer to say that we need to first analyze our local conditions, our local characteristics, our demands, and on the other hand, what we have available, so tools that we can pick from different alternatives. And here I know that Eureka has plenty of alternatives to offer to different cities around the world. ISVA is the leading association to assist and support on that development, and together we can ensure a better waste management throughout the world.
Thank you so much for those insights, Carlos. And my next question for Ramli. In Malaysia, in what way is there a need for sustainable waste management in cities? And to what extent has it already become more sustainable over the last years?
Right, thank you, HM, for the question. Well, I think here in Malaysia, I mean, we are a developing country, you know, with 32 million people population, and we have recorded a remarkable economic development ever since we independent way back in 1957. You know, economic growth has of course brought prosperity, population increase, you know, accelerated urbanization and industrialization. However, you know, with the rise of population and affluence of society, there has also been a substantial increase in solid waste, in particular domestic waste in the whole country. You know, today is 2021, you know, the 1st July 2021, our country, Malaysia, we are producing almost 38,000 tons of domestic waste per day. You know, we are not talking about other waste, industrial, chemical, commercial, schedule, and other parts. I mean, I heard Carlos was mentioning in the year, the whole world producing almost 2 billion tons of domestic waste. I mean, if you add the whole of waste, the number will be huge increase, probably go to 7, 8, or probably 10 billion tons in the year. And you know, and we in Selangor, you know, Selangor itself, we have got 6.4 million people with 1.2 million taxpayer. And what we notice for the past 10 years, waste generation has increased almost more than 91% over the last 10 years due to the rapid development of urban areas, rural-urban migration, or increased per capita income, and changes in consumption patterns. And you know, the recycling rate at the moment in our country is very low. We are talking about probably the rate of between 25 to 28%. I mean, comparing to our neighbor Singapore, they are registering probably about 60% of their recycling rate. You know, but because at the moment, the most predominant employed state in Malaysia is purely general disposal. Here in Malaysia, we noted that the government has tried their very best to promote the circular economy concept to improve the recycling rate and ultimately to reduce landfill waste in the whole country. I mean, to be honest to you, there's no way going to live beyond 2021. We are still using the landfill, because landfill, it is not sustainable. The usage of land, the cost of land, it will be more expensive if we are not talking about the way forward on how we're going to deal with how we're supposed to dispose our waste. So it is very important, for Malaysia to carefully planning alongside efficient resources allocation and proper management is very important in our country to achieving a sustainable solid waste management system, in order that we are going to follow the whatever system which has been produced and developed, in particular the developed country like in Europe, in Japan, even now in China, they are talking about a very advanced technology when it comes to treatment and disposal. We have to be, we need to learn from these countries, and we are very sure that one fine day we should be able to at least at par with the developed country in making sure that there is a sustainable waste management in our own country.
Thank you so much, Ramli. Now, my next question is for Arne. From a waste management perspective, how can cities work together and learn from each other to collectively work towards sustainable development goals?
Thanks a lot for this question. I think it's all about exchange of best practice and application to the local context. And it was mentioned by Carlos and also Umutkan. It's very much about the stakeholders. It's very much about the involvement of the stakeholders. Technology is there, technology is available, but it's about the interfaces. It's about the decision making. It's about touching people's lives to change their behavior, and that's what makes the difference. So there are solutions, and there should be exchange between different cities. There should be exchange on platforms like ISWA, where you can see how it could work. But at the end, it's all about application in the local context. And this is not just copy paste. It has very much to do with a thorough analysis and the deep understanding of the whole situation, and about developing a solution together with those that are involved. And this is not only the decision makers, the authorities, it's also the citizens that are involved a lot. And this is I would say that's how you can solve the waste management issue and how you can be successful. So best practice exchange is a very good basis, but there is a lot of need of implementing a dialogue, implementing a discussion process to find the right solution. And just one example, ISWA is offering a communication award every year. And if you look at the winners, the prize winners every year, you see it's very different depending on the context, depending on the culture, depending on where this promotion video is applied to. If you look at these videos, they are very different, and all of them are best practice in their specific context. So it's all about exchange of best practice, exchange of know-how, and application in the local context by including the stakeholders to this whole process.
Thank you so much. And my next question, again for the Ramli. You're a Malaysia smart waste management company. In what way has technology helped in making your own work more sustainable?
Thank you, Echin. At the moment, we are operating in Selangor. Selangor is the largest state in the whole country, whereby, as I mentioned earlier, we have got about almost 6.4 million people that producing almost 7,500 tons of waste in a day. We are talking about domestic waste. So in order to manage this kind of huge waste, I strongly believe that we need to deploy a new technology to support our operation. This high volume of waste, it is very hard to deal with. And I believe that smart waste management today involve an innovative approach that involve the use of information and ICT, to making some strategic decisions with respect to waste characterization, waste generation, waste collection, transportation, logistics of waste, of course, waste treatment, and at the end of the day, waste disposal processes. As said today, the company, KDB Waste Management, who are operating in Selangor, we have used a couple of mode of technology in order to increase our efficiency in our operation on a daily basis. Number one, we have got almost 1,100 vehicles. We have got compactors, we have Ro-Ros, we have water jetter, we have CBC, and all these machines we have equipped with a vehicle monitoring system, whereby we can monitor tracking through our centralized command center to ensure that we can monitor and track the whole vehicle within the whole Selangor in real time. And this has given us an extra advantages to ensure that any complaints that coming from our client can be addressed to by confirming or to ensure that there is a proper remedy when a waste is being collected, our lorry has passed through in specific area on what time, at GPS, what do you call that, specific GPS location and whatsoever. And we also that is we have been using this VMS ever since the incorporation of our takeover way back 2016. And not only that, we also have introduced a complaint through apps, which can be download from Apple or even Android phone, whereby complaint through apps through smartphone would be one of the convenient way to public to lodge a complaint. Other than they, definitely they can call our centralized command center. They can WhatsApp, they can text it, they can email. But with apps, it will be much easier. Just download it to your smartphone, switch it on the GPS, and take the photos, and then just tell us what is the problem. Whether waste is not being collected regularly, whether there is a clog in the drain, whether grass is not being cut regularly, and other things of complaint that they really want to do. At the same time, we are in the middle and the midst of developing few other projects to deploy IR 4.0 in our operation. Number one, we are working closely with Umutkan, with Africa. We are trying to introduce a smart bin sensor. This is very simple, whereby a device being put into all some of our bins to predict the trend of the fullness and to give an optimum prediction for the waste route and pickup time. It will be much easier for our garbage lorries, and it may reduce the need for extra trips to collect the waste, especially in remote areas. And application of IR 4.0 as well. This sensor will speak with our command center and generate reports and recommend suggestion on work schedule. This one, it is we are working in progress with Africa. I would like to extend my thank you to Umutkan for the fantastic technology. We really hope that we can have a good proof of concept, and we should be able to cover the whole Selangor once the proof of concept is successful. Number two, we also in the midst of try to utilize an automation system, by usage of automated software system to compile and analyze data and generating reports. This automated system serves several advantages, such as improve productivity, reduce time and resources utilization, as well as increase efficiency and manual system. Number four, we are introducing another apps, we call it iClear, the usage of these iClear apps to capture and track work done in real time. The benefits other than that, include proof of work and real time and progress data. And finally, well, of course, we are talking about the alternative disposal, which we are in the process of elevating some project. We are talking about more advanced treatment to the domestic waste. It probably what do you call it? Because Malaysia at the moment, probably most of our treatment and disposal is purely on landfill. I thought that this is the right time, coming to year 2021, this is the right time for us to explore a more sustainable treatment and disposal for our country.
Thank you so much, Ramli, and great answers. I got lots of questions related to them too. And my next question for Carlos, could you provide some options on how to start working towards sustainable city waste management?
Thank you, Etienne. Yes, sure. I would say that Ramli has already given a lot of inspirational, not only as something to be considered, but how they can be implemented, and they are already being implemented. But I would say first step, in my opinion, would be that we need to analyze and consider the new social standards. We need to consider how our current and new generations are behaving towards the several different topics, and waste management is one of these topics. So we have to consider that we have nowadays citizens who are globalized, who are almost 100% online. The younger ones are also digitally native. They are born with like digital chips on board, and we also have nowadays multitasks people. So we need to offer solutions that can be really perceived as an added value, considering these new patterns and these new social standards. And on that sense, it's a kind of building from what the results and research about Industry 4.0, and Ramli has just mentioned some of them, how to add those solutions to the waste industry. And on that topic, on that specific topic, ISVA has published last year a very interesting report about how Industry 4.0 transforms the waste sector, how we can bring on board some of these solutions, such as sensors, such as automation, artificial intelligence, mobile applications, and also taking us to, for example, why not analyze driverless solutions, and why not to analyze remote controlled operations. So this is, we are living in a fast changing world, and we need to adapt to these new trends. I remember now that there is a very famous phrase from Charles Darwin, who said, "It's not the strongest species that survives, but the most adaptable to change." And this is, I would say, the important thing we need to take into consideration, and also to think that we are moving towards a new momentum in the world, which is green and sustainable. Everybody's talking that the post-COVID era is a sustainable one. We need the recovery from COVID, from this moment, will be a green recovery. And for that to happen, the waste industry must be in the center. The waste industry must be considered as a partner, as a provider of renewable energy, as a provider of several resources. And that is also the core of the circular economy concept. So if we want to move towards a more circular economy, and this is one of the targets included in the ISVA's vision, we need to consider the waste industry as a central part of this circular economy system. And for that, it's something that, so considering the new social standards, considering the emerging solutions from these the current researches, and considering that we cannot sustain anymore our current linear system of managing extraction of natural resources, production and manufacturing, consumption, and waste generation, we need to change. And for that, we need to have all the tools into our hands and analyze, again, the local conditions, the local context, and implement that. And just to add, HM, it's something that we are at ISVA working very hard in order to disseminate such concepts and knowledge and support local authorities. Yesterday, I've been part of a very interesting online meeting during the Social Business Day hosted by Professor Mohamed Yunus. And during this event, together with UN Habitat, Yunus Environment Hub, and Avalnorg, we have launched the Wastewise Partnership. It's a new partnership in which ISVA is one of the founding partners in order to improve sound waste management throughout the world through modern solutions, through advanced solutions, not only to deliver like closure of dump sites, which are still present in many places, but also to modernize, but also to advance with best practices in order to deliver better quality of life in different regions of the world. Thank you very much for the question.
Thank you so much for the answers. And my other question for Umutcan, not last but least, what are the main takeaways that you would like to give to our attendees today?
Thanks a lot, Ecem. I personally learned a lot from all the speakers. I would say I took my notes like for pages. So I would like to summarize what we have taught today. Then maybe we can continue with some question and answer sessions. So mainly what we have taught is, at the end of the day, the first thing first, like social standards. So the social generations are changing. So we need to understand the new social standards, as Carlos mentioned. And then before coming to cities and waste management sector, maybe we need to put the impact of what we are doing and what we would like to do in the first line, I would say. Then we have talked about the waste management issue is huge. We've given some numbers, like municipal waste is like 2 billion tons, but if we include all the other waste types, it becomes like 7 to 10 billion tons of waste every year, which is huge. And the numbers are increasing as well. But the solution for these problems must be locally oriented, because different countries, different cities, different verticals may have, and most probably will have, different approaches, different constraints. So we need to approach all these specific problems separately by considering local needs. So this is also important. So there is no one single solution to solve all the problems all around. So we need to be, as again Carlos mentioned, as flexible as possible instead of being as strong as possible in order to survive and provide a circular solution, like sustainable solutions. Sustainable cities can be realized only by this way. And we also talked about inclusive approaches, so we can include all the stakeholders in the process. So this is really important. And also we mentioned like communication. So communication is really important because everyone has different understanding of each saying. So different cultures, different approaches. We need to make it clear and we need to make it localized as well, like Arne mentioned. And we need like real case studies, as Ramli mentioned and explained to us today. We need to share these kind of case studies and success stories all around, because everyone has at least one thing to learn from others, not only from successes, but also from fails too. So we need to share all these to create best of best scenarios. This is only available, well, this is available today as well, like digitally we can meet with each other. So this is also possible, this increase the speed of sharing as well. And so all in all, we are all here and we are passionate about waste management and sustainable cities. And ISWA is here and they are saying that always we are supporting good solutions. We are supporting good case studies from cities, from companies, from people, from associations. So again, I would like to mention once again, I believe 1 + 1 = 3. So only this way we can create sustainable cities for the younger generations, for us, for our children, grandchildren. So this is our responsibility, I would say. So this is kind of a summary, but of course I may miss some points. If you guys have, please add those points as well.
Thank you, Umutcan. And maybe we can go with the questions coming from our attendees. And I'm going to ask for all of you. Thank you so much, first of all, Gaurav. And there's a question to, like, as waste management and circular economy are interlinked, aiming for these at local, national, regional, and global level is required. Which of these levels is most important and why? What do you think on that part?
Well, if I may, I would say that all of them are important, but starting at global level, it's a common sense that circular economy is happening, is a trend, and everybody is talking about that. Currently, we have also what is being considered like the darling of the moment. People are talking about the ESGs indicators and patterns. So environmental, social, and governance standards as part of the financing process, as part of successful performances. And this is already happening. But the point is, how do we transfer these concepts to local realities, to practical solutions, to successful results? And here I would say, first, it would be important to internalize those concepts at the national level. So here, national governments play a very important role in order to translate what these circular economy system means to a national, to a country level consideration. And then picking from this national concept, picking from the national directive, we need that regions and local authorities and municipalities deliver practical solutions, because it's not something that we can see that national governments will play a on the field role, but rather regional and local authorities together with the stakeholders. Umutkan said its waste management cannot be played, cannot be successful if it is a stand-alone project, if it is an individual solution, but it will only be successful if we are also successful to integrate the different stakeholders, to integrate governments, decision makers, citizens, manufacturers, and all together joined and aiming at the same direction. Because this is, I would say, the golden rule for the success of any waste management initiative: integration of the integration and commitment of the different stakeholders.
Thank you so much, Carlos. And
I would like to just sum it up in one sentence. I think I totally agree with Carlos that all the levels are very important, but I'm convinced that without the local level, you wouldn't succeed. So the involvement and the integration of the local level is key.
Thank you so much. And another thing, yes, also related to the localization part, and there are the social phenomena we are facing. Thank you, Gabriel, for the question. And what about the informal waste collectors? In many developing countries, this is an emerge of this social phenomenon, and how we could practically integrate these pickers into a smart collection system without increasing the poverty of the already vulnerable pickers. And the question coming from the Uzbekistan, and they have a particular situation, and they are thinking that just by cutting down the informal collection won't solve the issue. Who would like to answer that one?
Well, I strongly believe that, of course, in a developing country in particular, most of the waste collector we are still using, and what you call a human resources as one of the main key player. Of course, we have got our own garbage truck system, as compared to other developed countries as well. But to be honest to you, that the design of the route, the design of the development in most of the developed countries is totally different as compared to a developed country. So even though there are suggestion that by using more human power could make more cost to the cost of waste collection, rather than you guys need to invest in a more sophisticated logistic, more advanced vehicle that can with less people on the machines. But then again, as I mentioned earlier, the design of urbanization in the developing countries is totally different. The mentality of people, in particular in Asia, is totally different as compared to people who are based in Europe, so to speak. The concern of having a proper waste disposal to the bins, whatever it is beyond imagination. And I don't think by putting aside a human and taking out from the system would solve the waste collection issues in a developing country. As I mentioned to you, the design of our road is totally different. The walkway is different. The design of bin, the design of the flats, the strata, title, apartment, condominium is totally different, as compared to the developed country. And here in Asia, in particular in Malaysia, the sensitivity of people when we talk about waste disposal is also different, and I strongly believe that from time to time we have got to find a balance in ensure that the technology will not taking over the role of this human or so-called labor that involved in waste collection. Of course, we want to ensure that there is an efficiency when it comes to collection. Waste can be collected regularly by using a technology most advanced, compactors or machines. But then again, it still require labor or a worker, and it probably take times, for developing country to live without worker in running our collection on a daily basis.
Thank you so much. And do you have anything to add? Also, I can go with other questions.
HM, I'd like to add, I fully agree on what Ramli just said, and but regarding the informal sector, I think it's also important to empower them and integrate them as professionals of the waste industry. It's not the case anymore to consider them as a segregated human force that contributes to the overall results of waste management in different locations, but really to professionalize these groups, transforming them into waste entrepreneurs, engaging them into the formal system, and not anymore as a social responsibility issue, but as part of the waste industry. We need to support this transition. We need to support this shift. I would say it's a paradigm shift, but we need to consider the informal sector as part of the waste industry.
Thank you, Carlos, for the answer. And other question is going like, what's the work being done to avoid exports of recyclables from developed to developing countries? Most of the times waste pollution just transferred and less part of a global circular economy. How smart cities will integrate this problem with expected e-waste generation ramping up?
So maybe I can comment on this. As we are always saying this, like waste management is a global issue, but we need to find local solutions. So this is also related with this, I believe, because if we look at just one picture and say that, okay, we are solving the problem here, but we are just sending the problem to anywhere else. Okay, this is not correct if you look at the big picture. So that's why we need to have local solutions, but we need to look at the big picture if we are saying, okay, we are solving the problem. So that's why I would like to say that, like, e-waste generation rates, that's why we are seeing lots of e-waste material recovery facilities investments all around. So we are going to make the e-waste collection. We are going to make the recovery facilities, so we can solve the issue in local states or around the city. So instead of sending all the waste around, this is a huge issue nowadays, and it's kind of a public issue as well, which I do not want to touch. But from the waste management point of view, I would like to say that we have to look at for the two pictures, like local and global. Otherwise, it can be a little greenwashing approach. So we are doing the cleaning here, but we are having the problem somewhere else. So this is not real. This is what we would like to solve as well.
HM, well, I think our view is very simple here in Malaysia. To us, in KDB, waste not dirty, but waste money. I remember about a year ago, China has stopped from importing plastic from Europe, from Australia, from other parts of the world. And in China, there are billions of people. I believe that millions of waste is being generated on a daily basis in China. And but at the end of the day, if a developed country, for example, a country in Europe, they just have this waste generation on every day. But when it comes to plastic disposal, they will export it to the third country, probably in Asia, probably in Malaysia. And if this country allow this plastic coming from abroad and process it in this country, and then this country, there is a circular economy in this business, of course, as I mentioned, waste is money. And of course, at the end of the day, when they produce a end user product, which can be sold back to the developed country, I believe that it's just like our friend was mentioning, somebody's problem. Somebody else got to sort it out. And I thought that we have got to be more responsible in this. I mean, if we can't settle our local issues in our own country, dealing with plastics, recycles, I don't think that would be a wise idea for us to allow the country to bring more plastic. Of course, there are plenty of other options. I'm not sure, when you talk about integration between the international, local, cross-border, this is business, but as far as we are concerned, that it has to be dealt properly, or else some other country, especially developing country, become a big, huge landfill for plastic. And of course, it will solve a lot of problem to other developed country, because their waste, their plastic is being sent to this developing country. But whether the developing country are ready to deal with this plastic, whether there is a technology to transform this plastic to become a usable material, like probably biodiesel or probably other things that can be sold back to the developed country.
May I add one word to this? I totally agree with what has been said. But we also have to be aware that waste follows the route of the least cost. So if there are routes with low costs, they will be taken by someone. So we have to have some regulations. We have to have some control mechanisms in place. And for the international transboundary shipments, there is some additions that have been passed in the Basel Convention, but it's also about import restrictions of the countries to receive the waste. So I think we have to be aware it's something that needs a legal framework that is to be executed.
Thank you so much.
Also, sorry, and also if I may, adding to what Arne just said, it's something that in most cases it's not related to the waste industry. Usually the waste industry is blamed of these exports and transshipment, but in most cases it's not related to the waste industry, but it's a crime. It's a case of international investigation. So as Arne said, meanwhile we still have this less expensive, illegal, inadequate and irregular solution being part of the waste system, being an alternative, we must be consider how to prohibit and how to block those solutions, because the worst case scenario for the waste industry is to compete with these illegal practices, because on one side you have industries making investments, paying for researches, delivering advanced solutions, who are competing with criminals. So we need really to ensure that we can stop such practices.
Thank you so much, all. I would like to thank you all, to my participants and our attendees today. Thank you so much for your time and precious time you take this time with us. And if you have any further questions, yes, I know there are plenty of questions not answered. We would like to thank you, and please get communicated with us with the email we already sent to you. We can we can keep this conversation further. Thank you so much for you all. Is there anything you would like to add, or would you like to give a message?
I'd like to invite, sorry, Rutkan, I'd like just to give a final invitation and invite you all to be with us for the ISVA World Congress in October this year. It will be an online Congress hosted by Greece, our national member in Greece, and you will be very welcome to be with us and continue discussing these very interesting and attractive topics. You can see that we don't finish today, but look forward to further discussions with you all.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for the invitation, Carlos, and thanks everybody to joining and sharing your thoughts and your experiences. So of course there is no end, so we can continue in other meetings. Hopefully one day we can meet each other face to face as well. So see you soon.
Yeah, see you at another event.
Thank you very much.
You guys stay safe. Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye, take care.